is Sam Spencer. I'm pleased to be joined by Henry Beck. Henry Beck is a Waterville City Councilor who's also a candidate for the main house in District 76 in Waterville. Henry, thanks for being here.
Yeah, Sam, thanks for having me on.
Henry, I first met you when you were in high school and first getting involved in the Democratic Party. Since then, you've accomplished a lot. You've been president of the Maine College Democrats.
That's right.
You were elected to the Waterville City Council when you were a freshman at Colby.
Yep.
And now you're a candidate for the legislature. My first question is, how do you balance all those demands in your time of being a full-time college student, a candidate for the legislature, and a city councilor?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing you learn maybe just in college is how many hours there are, in a day. It is hard work. I do spend several hours a day on different things, whether it's school or with city council or running for the legislature. We have a citizen legislature in Maine. People are teachers and farmers and businessmen, and it all gets done, at the end of the week, and that's the kind of attitude I have, and I've never really had a problem. I've been a full-time counselor and full-time student for 3 years now. There are people who, work more jobs than that. That's harder work, and they get it done too, so I know I can.
You must be one of the youngest people running for the legislature this year. Is that true?
Yep, I will be.
Are you the youngest?
I'm not the youngest ever. It actually belongs to a former Republican. I will be, if all goes, well, I will be the youngest member of this class in the legislature.
What kind of reaction when you're knocking on doors and campaigning? What reaction do you get to your youth? Are people surprised?
They are surprised. Waterville has a very high average age, and actually the ward I represent is one of the highest in the city.
Really?
Yeah. One of the kind of the ironies of my time on the council. People are a bit surprised, maybe at first, but once we sit down and have a conversation and talk about important things, it kind of goes out the window. It's more of a positive, I'd say, than a negative. Youth isn't forever, so I don't run as
true.
Right, that's right. So I don't run as a young candidate or as the young face. I really just try to have a good conversation about issues that affect people.
What kind of issues have you focused on during your time on the city council?
Mm-hmm. I started in November 2005, before I was on the council, actually having community meetings at the George J. Mitchell School right outside my ward, and we talked about three things. We talked about crime, neighborhood health overall, and ways to deal with youth in the city. I fought very hard for community policing in my ward. We have a record, it was a team effort of lower taxes every year on the city council. We've seen some great developments with the Hathaway development in Waterville, looking at the head of falls. So it's been a variety of things, from neighborhood safety to environmental issues. I served as the chair of the first ever committee on environmental sustainability on the city council.
Really?
So
that's great.
Yeah, it's been a very issue-heavy experience, and it's been a lot of fun.
What do you want to focus on when you are elected to the legislature? I understand you have one proposal involving a tax credit for the installation of alternative energy. What is that all about?
Well, first of all, I think our first, as a caucus and just as a whole body, our first priority will be comprehensive tax reform, hopefully in the first year of the 2-year session. Yeah, and thank you for bringing it up. One thing, I talk to people about energy prices, and we talk about alternative energy and credits for alternative energy, and that's all fine and great. But what happens is that people can't afford, for example, to install solar panels or have a wind turbine on their small business. So I want to look at ways is how do we create kind of a partnership rebate program for people to install those devices for cheap, it's affordable enough, and then share the savings between consumers and the installers.
How's the campaign going? What kind of opposition are you facing?
Well, I had a primary with a former city councilor back in June. For whatever reason, I don't actually have a Republican on the ballot, but I'm still.
Congratulations!
Well, thank you.
That's the best way of running.
Yeah, it's a bit anticlimactic, but still working very hard and knocking on doors, and doing. When I first ran for council, I was unopposed too, but I made a point to kind of build a relationship with people in my district, and I'm doing the same thing this year.
That's important. Well, Henry Beck, candidate for main house in District 76 in Waterville, thank you so much for joining us at samspencer.org.
All right, thanks, Sam, a lot.
Thank you, Henry.